Hi children, good morning and welcome back to physics class. In the last session, we discussed the circular motion. I would like to give some more extent in the same content, circular motion. When your body is rotating about a fixed point so that it maintains the same distance with the time. For example, at a time instant t1, if the body is here and after some time the body is at one more point like this, as the time lapses, the position of the body will be at the same distance from the center, so called the center of rotation. While doing so, let us consider a body at different stages, different positions. By name it is A and this point is B. Similarly, one more point C and one more it is D. Let V be the velocity of the particle. Let V. And very important thing is, when the body is under uniform circular motion, that means it is rotating with a constant speed V. This constant speed acts along the tangent drawn at the particular point. For example, if we would like to know what is the velocity at the particular instant, if we draw a tangent, this tangent represents the direction of the velocity, both in magnitude and direction. See, when the point is at B, it is along this tangent, and when it is at C, it is along this tangent, and similarly, when it is at D, it is along the tangent. From this, what is your observation? Means what we can conclude from this. For example, if you draw the line joining to the center, it is nothing but the radius. It is nothing but the radius. Both this radius and this tangent, these two are mutually perpendicular to each other. This is perpendicular, like this. This is perpendicular to this one at any instant. Such is called tangent. And in this case, the body subjected to two types of accelerations. By namely, one is this is called acceleration because of this V, where we can calculate this tangential acceleration using our ordinary techniques. What do you mean by velocity? Velocity is nothing but the rate of displacement. Similarly, what is acceleration? The rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. That is why tangential acceleration is nothing but dv by dt, simply this. This is tangential acceleration. What is its direction? It is none other than the direction of the velocity. That means along the tangent it acts. Good. Then you may raise one more question, sir, is there any more acceleration? Definitely it is in the definition of the circular motion only. When a body is moving along a circular path, it experiences a force. That means a force is essential to maintain the body in circular path, which is nothing but centripetal force. Which is nothing but centripetal force. What is centripetal force? It is a force directed towards the center along the radius. That means in this direction this centripetal force will act. Just see. So how can we measure this centripetal force? Centripetal force Fc is nothing but mv square by r. mv square by r. What is m? Mass of the particle. R is the radius of this circular path in which the particle is rotating, and v is the tangential velocity. If we substitute the value of acceleration, it is nothing but ma. Ordinarily you can calculate this. Whereas the acceleration is replaced by v square by r. From again the basic of Newton's law, F is equal to ma. M into what is the value of A? It is nothing but V square by R. This is named as centripetal force. Centripetal force. From the minimum knowledge of the circular motion, we can establish the relation between so-called tangential velocity, linear velocity, and circular, that is angular velocity also, which is nothing but v is given as r omega. V is given as r omega. The only unknown term is omega. V is linear velocity, r is radius, and omega is called angular velocity. Angular velocity, which is nothing but omega is equal to 2 pi n, where n is the number of rotations per second. For example, if a body is in circular motion such that it completes n cycles, n rotations per second, then its angular velocity is given as 2 pi n, 2 pi n, whereas this n can be replaced with see, this is nothing but 2 pi by t, where t is called period of revolution, period, and this n is frequency. These two related as n is equal to 1 by t. This is about omega. If we substitute the value of omega in the centripetal force, what we Fc, centripetal force, is equal to mv square by r. It is nothing but, in the place of v, if we substitute r omega, it is nothing but m into r omega whole square by r. It is nothing but m r square omega square by r. Clearly, this is nothing but m r omega square. It is called centripetal force. This is in terms of linear velocity, and this is in terms of angular velocity. That is only the difference between these two. Right? Once again, consider a body of mass m moving circular, along the circular path of radius r, the linear velocity v, which is directed along the tangent drawn at that instant of time. Right? Then its acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of velocity. The body in circular motion is experienced by centripetal force, where we can calculate the force with the ordinary formula F is equal to ma. In the place of acceleration, we can substitute this value. So this gives the centripetal force acting on the particle. Same thing, if we express it in terms of angular velocity, this centripetal force can also be written as mr omega square. That means at any instant of time, the particle experiences two types of acceleration. One is tangential acceleration and the another is centripetal acceleration. That means, see, I am giving clearly here, this is at tangential and ac centripetal acceleration. Since is a vector, the question is, when a particle is having simultaneously two types of accelerations, what is the resultant acceleration? What is the resultant acceleration? See, this is tangential acceleration and this is centripetal acceleration. These two are making 90 degrees to each other. That's why A resultant is nothing but the square root of A t whole square plus A suffix c, read it as tangential acceleration whole square plus AC whole square. This is the formula. Okay, are you convenient? Are you convenient? So today we cover two important concepts, by namely centripetal acceleration in terms of linear velocity and centripetal acceleration in terms of angular velocity. At any instant of time, the particle experiences two types of accelerations which are mutually perpendicular to each other. One is tangential, along the tangent it acts, and one is towards the radius vector, it is acting towards the center. Since these two are perpendicular to each other, the resultant acceleration, which is nothing but the net acceleration, can be determined using the formula A is equal to at square, by namely square of the tangential acceleration plus square of centripetal acceleration. Now I would like to go for one more article in centripetal force, that is the conical pendulum. Let me explain what is conical pendulum. Generally, simple pendulum means, you know, a bob of having certain mass is suspended by an inextensible string from a rigid support is called a simple pendulum. Here it is conical pendulum. See, observe this. This is called conical pendulum. It is a rigid support. Here a certain mass is suspended by means of string. It is just like ordinary pendulum. It's ordinary pendulum. In case of simple pendulum, it is allowed to oscillate in a circular line along a circular. That means, if we pull it to one side and release, it begins to execute simple harmonic motion in this plane. That means, in the plane of the board. Instead of pulling it to one side, if you give a push in the horizontal direction, what happens? That means, like this, the pendulum is suspended. Now it is in air. Let us imagine around the space, 3-dimensional concept. If you given a horizontal push to it, what happens? Instead of oscillating in a plane, it is began to rotate in a circular horizontal plane, in a circle horizontal. That means, see the different situations I am giving. I am trying to visualize this situation, see, like this, like this. Okay, that means it is rotating along a circular path like this. That's all. This is about the conical pendulum. In case of simple pendulum, the to and fro time taken by the pendulum is considered as time of oscillation. In this case, since it is rotating in the horizontal plane, the time taken to complete one circle is considered as the time period of this conical pendulum. Time period of a conical pendulum. Now I am going to derive an expression for time period of a conical pendulum. This it's most important question, exclusively in competitive examinations like NEET and JEE. Be alert and try to get it. Don't try to by heart this. It is a very basic information, just relates time period and what we discussed just now, that is period of revolution, like that. Now see, imagine the string is making an angle theta with the horizontal. This is the case. The string is making an angle theta with the horizontal. Once again, I will try to draw properly. See, this is the bob. Let theta be the angle made by the string with the vertical theta. What else we have? This is the radius of the circle in which it is performing oscillations. This is R. First, I would like to draw different forces act on it when it is in equilibrium position at this point. We know, and it is very convenient to write the basic force mg, weight acts vertically downward, right? Now next one is the tension in the string. Tension in the string, T. Now I would like to resolve this tension into two mutually perpendicular components. See, this is first one. By name T cos theta, and one more, it is acting in this direction, whose value is nothing but T sin theta. Then we can clearly understand the upward force T cos theta is balanced by the vertically downward force mg, whereas T sin theta was balanced by the outward. It is nothing but mv square by r, which is nothing but, in return we can write the same as mr omega square. Both are same. Mv square by r, when the centripetal force is in terms of linear velocity, mr omega square when the same is expressed in terms of angular velocity. Both are same. Right? Now totally this is the description. Okay, I will give the geometry of this one also. That means what are the measurements? Here the total length of the pendulum will be taken as L. This is nothing but L, and this is R, and of course this is theta. This is theta. and in this triangle, observe carefully, in this triangle, this is opposite side and this is hypotenuse and is a given angle. Whenever we need, we can use this information. Right? Shall we move to the derivative part of this? Are you convenient? See, here mg is balanced by the vertical upward force, and t sin theta, the inner force, was balanced by the outward mr omega square, because the bob has a tendency to move outwards. So, it should be balanced by the inward force, by namely t sin theta. T sin theta. See, now I am establishing the condition for equilibrium. In equilibrium state, see, t sin theta is balanced by m r omega square. Fine. This is equation 1. In case 2, it is nothing but t cos theta is equal to the vertically downward force. This is equation 2. If we divide equation 1 with 2, this t gets cancelled, this goes to tan theta is equal to mr omega square by m, g, m gets cancelled, nothing but r omega square by g. This equation 3 is tan theta is equal to. For example, instead of using this angular notation, taking only mv square by r, say, then if you replace this mv square by r, the formula becomes same, t sin theta is equal to m v square by r by t cos theta. T cos theta is equal to mg, m gets cancelled, t also. Therefore, we can write the above equation in this form also. This is tan theta is equal to v square by r g. Is one more useful notation, where only we are confined to the linear velocity of this one and the radius in which it is rotating, acceleration due to gravity, of course. Okay. Now, to derive the expression for time period of the conical pendulum, I am taking this equation. See, tan theta is equal to r omega square by g. Tan theta is equal to r omega square by g. This implies omega square is equal to how much? Which is nothing but g tan theta by, it is nothing but cross multiplication, g tan theta by r. What is this? Omega square value. From this, omega is equal to how much? Simply it is nothing but g tan theta by r. As we discussed just now, so omega is nothing but 2 pi by t, where period of revolution t is equal to square root of g into tan theta. Be careful here, I would like the value of r from this diagram. What is the value of r? In this triangle, if we consider sin theta here, see, sin theta is equal to how much? Opposite side by hypotenuse, which is nothing but r by L, which implies r is equal to L sin theta. R is equal to L sin theta. So, write here L sin theta now, L sin theta. Yes. Now, we are trying to derive the expression for time period. That is why capital T is equal to simply it is cross multiplication. It is nothing but 2 pi into square root of what else we have? Here we have L sin theta by g tan theta. Tan theta means nothing but sin theta by cos theta again. This sin theta by cos theta. This sin theta gets cancelled, and clearly expression for time period t is nothing but 2 pi into square root of sin gets cancelled, cos theta goes up, it is nothing but L cos theta, nothing but L cos theta by g. This is the expression. So, very oftenly we will come across this formula while doing rotatory motion problems. So, y is equal to L cos theta by g. What is L? The total length of the conical pendulum, and theta is the angle made by the string with the vertical, and g, that's of course well known, acceleration due to gravity. This is about the conical pendulum. Fine. Shall I repeat once again? When a bob of mass m is suspended by means of a inextensible light string whose mass is negligible, and if we give a gentle horizontal push to it, it begins to rotate in the horizontal plane. Such is called conical pendulum. Here, the time taken by the pendulum to complete one horizontal rotation is called time period of that conical pendulum. Imagine when we push it, it begins to execute circular motions in the horizontal plane. When it is at extreme position, I am drawing what are the various forces act on it by namely mv square by r, which is in return nothing but mr omega square outward, tension T along the string, mg vertically downward. This tension can be resolved into T cos theta and T sin theta as shown in the figure. For balancing purpose, T sin theta is balanced by mr omega square, T cos theta was balanced by weight, equation 1 and 2. By dividing equation 1 with 2, we have tan theta is equal to r omega square by g. At the same time, if the given problem is in terms of linear velocity, you consider instead of mr omega square simply mv square by r only, then there is separate and a particular case. Now let us move to this one. By considering equation 3, I am trying to derive expression for time period of the conical pendulum. Omega square is equal to g tan theta by r. Omega is equal to square root of this one, where omega can be replaced with 2 pi by t, where capital T is for time period of this conical pendulum. And in the figure if we consider this theta value, sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse, which is nothing but r by l. If we replace this with this r with L sin theta and cancelling the proper terms, the final value is T is equal to 2 pi into square root of L cos theta by G. This is the final. It's a brilliant one, and we can expect a definite question from this one, because most often a problem we can expect from this one. Right. In circular motion, since we finished the concept of friction, with the association of these two topics, that means friction and circular motion, that's why most often I am telling you physics is a beautiful subject. Unless and if you coordinate all topics, it's a beautiful subject, because we can combine. Presently we are in circular motion, exclusively laws of motion. We can expect a problem which is nothing but the combination of Newton's laws with the equations of motion. V is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, v square minus u square is equal to 2as, like that. As I said in the last class, all equations, that means equations of motion, by namely v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Of course, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. All these we come across in a kinematic chapter, equations of motion. But here beauty of physics is we can expect a problem in the combination of two chapters, by namely friction also. Simply, for example, this is a horizontal plane where if we give a push to this black, after traveling certain distance it comes to stop, because the frictional forces comes into exist which opposes the motion of this block. Since it is opposing the motion, it causes deceleration, which is equal to A is equal to minus mu z. A is equal to minus mu. You know very well, mu is the coefficient of friction and g is the acceleration due to gravity. That means if you substitute the value of A in any one of the above equation, we can get whatever you want according to the problem. That means if the problem is in terms of initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration and time, if you substitute A is equal to minus mu gt, So very well we can get any one of these three, whereas the remaining two are given in the problem. In the same way, just now when a body is rotating, it experiences a force which is called centripetal force, acts radially inward, it is the right word, which acts along the radius towards the center, is called radially inward. Radially inward. If we match this condition with the friction, what happens? How is it? How is it? Let us see. I am going to design one concept. A gramophone record, of course, it is outdated example, but it is suitable in this case. This gramophone disc is in the hard. Rupicon means what parameters we can expect its something m. Since gramophone record is a rough surface, coefficient of friction between these two, let us suppose mu is the coefficient of friction, at the same time g, acceleration due to gravity at this place, and since it is in rotatory motion, either linear velocity which acts tangentially, otherwise angular velocity we can expect, that is nothing but omega. Here BLR, when it is rotating speed, this coin has a tendency to fly off. The coin has a tendency to fly off from the table. Then which force hold it without moving? That is called a frictional force. Right? See, really you will enjoy this. Really you will enjoy if you find what is the key concept in this one. The coin while rotating, it experiences outward force, which is nothing but m r omega square. This opposes by the frictional force which is acting inward. Frictional force. Fine, this is F. For balancing sake, if this m r omega square dominates, undoubtedly this coin will fly off. This will be balanced till these two are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Okay, now see what is this? This is frictional force F. F is equal to m r omega square. What do you mean by F? Very simple. Frictional force is nothing but mu n. Mu is the coefficient of friction, n is the normal reaction, which can be replaced with mg. So the above equation becomes mu mg is equal to m r omega square. Similar terms, ordinary calculation, simple calculation, gets cancelled on either side. Here omega square is equal to mu g by r. In turn, therefore, omega is equal to square root of mu g by r. That's why this is a formula. How the question will be? How the question appears in the question paper? So many ways. See, here what will be the angular speed of the disc so that the coin placed on it does not skid? Then you are supposed to calculate the omega value. See, I am repeating my question. A coin placed on a gramophone disc which is rotating in horizontal plane, with what maximum angular velocity it can rotate so that the coin placed over it does not skid. That means then you are supposed to calculate omega value by equating the left hand and right hand, outward and inward. Outward force are m r omega square and inward is frictional force, where frictional force can be replaced with mu n. So this is nothing but mu mg. So mu mg is equal to m r omega square, mm strikes of omega we can calculate from this question. See how sensitive this is. Instead of giving angular velocity, if the disc is rotating with a linear velocity, then this m r omega square can be replaced with m square by r. See, definitely now it is beautiful, no doubt. When I use the word it is beautiful, you may not understand what's the beauty of physics. Really it is beauty of physics. Here, instead of giving angular, if you mentioned in terms of ordinary velocity, then these frictional forces can be balanced by, what is this, F is equal to m v square by r. In return, mu mg is equal to m v square by r. M gets cancelled. From this, velocity is given as square root of mu g r. That's all. So this one you have to by heart, or that one nothing to by heart, just listen casually. So what is the basic information given in the problem? If you study the problem properly, 50% data you will get from the problem. But unfortunate thing is, you are choosing different formula for different problems. It is a meaningless thing. It is not possible to me. Even to me also, it is not possible to mind all formulas. We have to create, we have to illustrate, we have to recollect from the previous knowledge. That should be thorough at theory, so that you can derive any case of this one. Okay, is it over, sir, with linear velocity and angular velocity? No, absolutely not. With velocity, it should be rotated. Instead of that, if the problem is what would be the time period of this disc, so that the coin placed over it does not fly off. See, in the place of omega, what information you have regarding omega? 2 pi by t is equal to square root of, it is nothing but mu z by r. Therefore, time period t is equal to, it is nothing but cross multiplication, 2 pi into square root of r by mu z. That means the condition for the coin does not fly off from the gramophone record, the period of revolution, time period is nothing but calculate 2 pi into r by mu z. And one more tidbit, not but not least, what will be the frequency of the gramophone record? See, it's a really funny thing. That means we have angular speed and linear speed, linear velocity from that time period. And what frequency, how many number of rotations it can make so that the coin does not fly off perpendicularly. Then frequency is nothing but the reciprocal of time period. It is a very basic knowledge. Of course, you may not be psyched with this at the time of the examination. That is unfortunate thing. Frequency is equal to the reciprocal of time period gives frequency of this gramophone record, so that the coin placed over it does not skid. Fine. On a rainy day, there is possibility for slipping. Boys, it's your experience. While taking circular curves along the road, there is possibility for skidding, which protects from you from this one. The frictional force between the tire of your bicycle and the outward force act on you, it is nothing but mv square by r. These two must be balanced. Otherwise, your cycle tire will be skid off and you may fall down. Be careful. Here also the condition is inward force is frictional force, outward force is mv square by r. These two must be balanced for the sake of equilibrium. Then you can avoid from skidding. Okay, right.